Welcome back to the Lost Tactician, where we dig beneath the surface of accepted history to uncover the tactical brilliance of those who came before us. Today we're stepping into a medieval hall on a February night, the kind of cold that seeps through bone and stone alike. But here's what's remarkable. The family inside isn't huddled miserably around a sputtering fire, frantically feeding logs into flames. They're warm, comfortable even, in a way that seems impossible given what we think we know about medieval life. Imagine a home heated not by the constant consumption of forests, but by something far more sophisticated, a system of thermal warfare against winter itself. Forget the simplistic image of endless logs crackling in crude hearths. We're about to expose the forgotten engineering that kept an entire civilization warm for centuries without reducing Europe to a barren wasteland. The question isn't just how they survived the cold, it's how they mastered it with such elegant efficiency that we've somehow lost the knowledge entirely. The standard narrative tells us medieval Europe heated itself through sheer brute force, burning wood, until the forests screamed for mercy. But let's engage our tactical minds for a moment and run the numbers. If every household across medieval Europe required the massive quantities of firewood we imagine, the continent would have been stripped bare within generations. Yet the great forests endured. The archaeological record shows something our assumptions miss entirely. Medieval heating wasn't about burning more, it was about burning smarter, and often burning less. The real story isn't one of environmental devastation. It's one of remarkable sustainability born from necessity. When resources are precious, innovation becomes survival. Medieval communities understood something we've forgotten in our age of thermostats and endless energy. Heat isn't just about flame, it's about capturing, storing, and radiating warmth long after the fire dies. Step inside a properly constructed medieval home, and you're entering a thermal fortress. Those massive stone walls, sometimes 3 feet thick, weren't just defensive architecture. They were heat batteries, absorbing warmth during the day from southern-facing windows strategically positioned to catch maximum sunlight, then releasing that stored energy throughout the freezing night. This is thermal mass in action, the same principle modern green architects are only now rediscovering. But medieval builders took it further. Many structures incorporated earth-sheltering techniques, partially burying homes or building into hillsides where the stable temperature of the earth itself, hovering around 50 degrees even in winter, provided a baseline warmth that required minimal supplementation. The compact multi-purpose rooms we often mistake for cramped poverty were actually brilliant heat conservation. Smaller volumes require less energy to warm and lose heat more slowly. High ceilings and sprawling chambers were luxuries only the wealthy could afford to heat. Everyone else lived in thermally efficient spaces that worked with physics, not against it. The transformation from open hearth to sophisticated heating system represents one of medieval Europe's most underappreciated technological leaps. Early open fires were thermal catastrophes. Most heat escaped directly up and out, while smoke choked inhabitants and blackened everything it touched. The development of the chimney in the 12th century changed everything, but the real genius emerged in Central and Northern Europe with the rise of masonry heaters, particularly the legendary Kachelofen. These weren't simple fireplaces, they were thermal engines. Constructed from heat-retaining materials, like soapstone or specially designed ceramic tiles, these stoves featured intricate internal baffling systems that forced hot exhaust gases through serpentine channels before releasing them. Every twist and turn extracted more energy, transferring heat into the massive thermal mass of the structure itself. The result was astonishing. A vigorous fire burning for just 2 to 3 hours could radiate comfortable warmth for 12 to 24 hours. One firing per day was often sufficient. This wasn't just efficiency, it was thermal alchemy, transforming a small amount of fuel into sustained distributed warmth that modern heating systems struggle to match. Here's where the conventional wisdom completely collapses. Medieval Europeans didn't heat primarily with wood in many regions. They couldn't afford to. Instead, they burned what the land provided: peat cut from bogs, dried dung from livestock, agricultural waste like straw and chaff, even compressed plant materials. In Ireland and Scotland, peat was king, slow-burning, readily renewable, and capable of producing steady heat for hours. Across the continent's farmlands, dried cow dung mixed with straw created fuel bricks that burned hot and clean enough for cooking and heating. Nothing was wasted. The stalks left after harvest, the prunings from orchards, the bracken cleared from paths, all became fuel. This wasn't desperation, it was sophisticated resource management. Medieval communities operated closed-loop energy systems where waste from one process became fuel for another, creating sustainability through integration rather than extraction. They understood their local ecosystems intimately, harvesting energy sources at rates those ecosystems could regenerate, season after season, century after century. As we face our own energy challenges in this year of 2026, medieval heating wisdom offers more than historical curiosity. It provides a blueprint for resilience. The principles of thermal mass, passive solar gain, super-insulation through textiles and design, and diversified local fuel sources aren't primitive. They're sophisticated responses to the fundamental physics of heat. Modern builders are rediscovering that thick walls, strategic window placement, and masonry heaters can dramatically reduce energy consumption. The medieval approach, generate less heat but retain it better, stands in stark contrast to our modern tendency to generate massive amounts of heat and let most of it escape. Their methods required no complex technology, no global supply chains, no dependency on distant resources. Just intelligence, local materials, and an understanding that working with nature's principles beats fighting them every time. These weren't just survival techniques. They were tactical victories in humanity's longest campaign, the war against winter. The soldiers in this fight were stonemasons, architects, and ordinary families who transformed limited resources into enduring comfort through ingenuity rather than abundance. If this glimpse into medieval thermal intelligence sparked something in you, whether it's appreciation for forgotten wisdom or inspiration for sustainable living, hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to see beyond the myths. Subscribe to The Lost Tactician because we're just getting started uncovering the practical genius our ancestors used to thrive in conditions that would break us. Until next time, stay warm, stay tactical, and remember, the best solutions are often the ones we've forgotten.